I remember that day very clearly. I was 23 years old and I sat on the bathroom floor at my office and I started crying my eyes out. But it wasn't crying that I actually wanted. What I wanted is to bang my head over the wall. I wanted to hurt myself. I was so unhappy, so miserable. At that day and then in that moment, I understood that I hated myself. Hi, my name is Alona and I'm a life coach, TEDx speaker, and world traveler. Welcome to my channel. I created this little corner of internet is a sacred space for inspiring, strong, feminine women like you to gather together and make our dreams come true. So hit that subscribe button and join us. So today we are talking about self-love. How to achieve that self-love, which steps we need to take to feel, yes, I love myself. So get that cup of coffee or a cup of tea and get ready for a hard and long conversation. So what is self-love actually? When you think about a girl that obviously loves herself, what do you imagine? Probably it's some beautiful, long legs, blonde, I don't know, model walking along the street and she's so confident, so amazing. You feel like, oh my God, she thinks she is wonderful, best woman on earth. And you probably feel like this is self-love. But is it really? So let's dive in it deeper. Self-love is a difficult thing to understand for us. We can't quite grasp it. We can't grasp the definition of self-love because we as humans are used for love that's directed towards others. Like love is something from inside directed to outside towards somebody. So think about some person who you really, really love. Maybe it's your husband, boyfriend, mother, child, doesn't matter, somebody. And think about all the best qualities that they possess that make you love them. For example, when I think about my husband, he's generous and caring and a very talented man, and I get this warm and fuzzy feeling when I think about this and his best qualities. So maybe if I can do it with somebody else, I can do it with myself. And there is this famous exercise, I don't know if you heard about it, you should definitely try it out if you didn't. It's called a winner's list, where you sit and you write down everything you did throughout your life, all the victories you had from that school Olympiad that you won in your third grade towards that high job position that you got when you were already a grown-up professional. Everything you ever did. And you have that list in your possession. Every time you feel lack of self-confidence, you feel self-doubt, you can go back to it, read it, and feel that boost of self-confidence. But is it self-love? If I have something to love myself for, then I love myself. If I have something to love somebody for, then I love them. Is it really love? No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Let me prove it to you. Think about a woman who has done so much charity work around the world, supported hundreds of charity organizations. She is famous, she is loved everywhere in every corner of the world. She helped people with diseases, she helped victims of war conflicts around the world. And on top of all that, she is very rich and very, very beautiful. Despite of all that, her marriage life is a complete wreck. Her husband doesn't love her, and what's even more important, she suffers from depression and bulimia, so she doesn't love herself either. If you didn't guess yet, that person is Princess Diana, one of the most beloved women in history, but still she didn't have that self-love, which proves to us self-love is far from being about reasons, achievements, far from being about something you deserve. Same like love towards somebody. Now go back to that exercise about the person you love. Do you really love them because they're generous, caring, talented? No. There are people out there who may be more generous, more caring, more talented, but you don't love them, you're not with them. You're with the person you love, because love is about something else. Let's understand about what. When we love somebody, including ourselves, it's about how that person makes us feel around them. If I feel happy next to you, if I feel content, calm next to you, I have a high chance of falling in love with you. Same way it works towards myself. If I'm happy, calm, content, I will probably love myself. If I'm not so much. Let's go back to that example from which I started this video. It's a real life example. It actually happened to me. The thing is, at that point, I was working in an office job in a corporation, and it was a high position job, very prestigious. However, I didn't like it, and I didn't feel happy at all. Actually, I felt completely miserable there. So my feelings inside were, I don't feel good with myself. I don't feel safe with myself. I don't feel happy, don't feel content, don't feel accomplished, nothing good. So that transformed into a feeling, I hate myself. So how do we fix this? How do we make sure you feel good with yourself and therefore you love yourself? It's time for 5 steps towards self-love. And step number 1, you shall stop treating yourself as some goal-achieving, dream-fulfilling machine, because you're not. If you're treating yourself this way, you will never achieve that self-love. Think about a parent and a child, and the parent has a lot of expectations towards their child. That he must be in a top college, he must have best grades, he must have best job, and this and that and that. And if the child does not fulfill all of these expectations, all of these accomplishments, then the parent withdraws their love. And the child feels abandoned, the child does not feel love. The same thing is happening inside yourself. When you treat yourself as a machine, I'm supposed to bring myself this and that results. I'm supposed to create for myself this and that life. Every time I will fail in it, every time I will not achieve something I planned, I will feel like I'm a failure, and I will feel like I don't love myself anymore. So don't base your love on these achievements, goals, dreams, fulfillment, whatever. Love is unconditional, and love towards yourself must be unconditional as well. From this step comes the second step, and it's about expectations. I'm not saying you shall not have any expectations in life. I'm not saying you shall not have goals. I'm not saying you shall not aspire to achieve something. Of course you shall, but we are talking about a little bit different topics here. Let's focus. Goals, achievements are about motivation. Self-love is something separate, is something different. And if we treat ourselves through expectations, then come back to step number 1, we will never feel content with ourselves, because our love is dependable. Our feelings about ourselves change every second, depending on whether we fulfill those expectations or not. Therefore, there is no self-love. Step number 3. It's quite a complicated one actually, and it's about taking responsibility from yesterday you and future you towards today you. Let me explain how it works. We are often trapped in a situation where we feel that yesterday me was supposed to bring me something, was supposed to get me somewhere. For example, you think, okay, by this age I was supposed to be a CEO of the company or possess a business that makes $1 million a month. And then when you come back to today and you think, oh, yesterday me didn't do that, you feel like that guy was not that good. But think about which responsibility you are putting towards that abstract person that doesn't actually exist anymore. He should have done something so that me today can enjoy the results, and me today does not have to do anything. The same responsibility we put on our future selves that, oh, tomorrow when it comes, I will feel stronger, I will feel more talented, I will feel more prepared, and I will do XYZ and achieve my goals. But yesterday you and tomorrow you are non-existent guys. The only guy that exists is you today, and you must take that responsibility if you want to achieve anything, if you want to do anything. Only today, only you today can take that responsibility and do those steps. So that was step number 3. Step number 4, when we shift from this difficult steps, from removing the expectations or not basing your self-love on your expectations, and shifting the responsibility from abstract yesterday you towards today you, we come to a pretty simple step, and which is learn to take care of yourself. I know that many self-love tutors, coaches tell you you must take care of yourself because love is an action. But that's not quite what I'm talking about right now. Basically, many things that we're doing with ourselves don't serve us. For example, when you eat that hamburger in the evening, of course you have a boost of endorphins, but you know it's not good for yourself in the long run. So after that hamburger is over, you feel down, right? You feel like you failed yourself. You feel like you did something wrong, of course, because it doesn't serve you. So you shall always prioritize things that serve you in the long run, and therefore your self-care shall be based on that. Think about that you have a kid in your possession, that is given to you to take care of. Always think of yourself as that child. What serves him? What shall he eat? How shall he spend his time? What shall he do? And base your self-care on that. And step number 5, stop disappointing yourself. Again, think about parent and the child. And the parent is unreliable. He says, I will come on Sunday and take you to the zoo, and never shows up. Child builds a resentment towards the parent, and there is less and less love. Because, again, how we feel around the person, how we feel about that person. The child feels unsafe, right? The child feels his needs, his expectations are never met. He feels he cannot rely on that person. So he feels down, basically. The same happens when you are disappointing yourself again and again. If you said, I will do that, start my blog, whatever. I will go to the gym tomorrow. Tomorrow comes and you never do that, you are disappointed in yourself. That makes you feel bad about yourself, which makes you love yourself less. So stop disappointing yourself. If you promised something, if you said you will do something, do it. To implement all these 5 steps easier, I want to give you 3 very simple techniques that you can try right now, right after this video, if you want to. Step number 1, technique number 1, I touched it a little bit in our discussion, and it is child work. There are a few ways of doing it. For example, it can be meditation, or you can write a letter, or you can just simply sit down with yourself and do this mental work. Imagine yourself as a child, how you were at 3, 5, 7 years old. Imagine yourself in details, what you would wear, how your hair would be done, how you would look, where you would be. Imagine that child very clearly in your head and have this image with you. Every time you have self-destructing thoughts, you are not worthy, you're not good enough, you're a failure, this and that, remember about that child. And it will be so much harder to say bad things to that kid and to fail that kid. So this is first technique. Second technique is actually a simple question that you can ask yourself every time you are trapped in this thoughts pattern, destructive thought pattern. And it is, what would somebody who truly loves me do or say about this situation? Think about a person who supports you 100%. Somebody who is your team all the way. Can be your boyfriend, can be your mother, can be your kid, can be your best friend, anybody. Think about how would that person take care of you? What would that person say or think about this situation? And try to look at yourself through their eyes. This is a good technique to grasp and feel that self-love. Try to look at yourself through the eyes of somebody who truly loves you. And the third technique I call play dates. You shall allow yourself do something just for fun, just because you want to. What I mean, for example, imagine going back to kids. The kid wants to paint, likes to paint, but so many obligations, school and homework and I don't know, violin classes, and the parent never creates space for doing so. The child feels down. Same way, we feel down when we are not allowed to do something we like. Just for fun, just for pleasure. Let's say you love to paint, create space for doing so. A good way to do it is play dates, as I said. All of us have busy schedules nowadays. It's hard to just stop everything and go have fun, go paint, go read, go whatever. So set up that 1 hour in your week when you will not watch Netflix and mindlessly scroll through Instagram. Instead, you will do something you truly want during that hour with yourself. As I'm saying, create the space for it and the time for it. For example, if you like books, you can go to a bookstore and spend that hour just walking through the aisles, touching this and that book, pick up one and then go home and 15 minutes with a cup of tea, read it. And this is your play date. Or if you like walking, you can make this 1 hour play date in a park where you will just quietly alone walk through the alleys and enjoy this time in nature. I don't know what it will be, it's different for everybody. So pick the activity that you really want to do for fun, not for profit. Create the time and space for it and do it, and you will feel an instant boost of self-love. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate that. If it was any useful, please put a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I'm just beginning and every subscriber and every like is so precious for me. I will be glad to see you next time. Stay tuned.